Iran has rejected the US nuclear deal, vowing to continue uranium enrichment. This in from the Daily Caller. Iran rejected a US proposed nuclear deal on Wednesday, vowing to continue enriching uranium while negotiations appear to be stalling after 5 rounds of talks, according to Reuters. Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei rejected a US offer in a Wednesday speech, shooting down a deal that would have required Iran to halt uranium enrichment on its soil and give up its current stockpiles of weapons-grade uranium, Reuters reported. On Monday, reports emerged indicating that the US would allow Iran to enrich civilian-grade uranium. President Donald Trump contradicted those reports later Monday when he posted to Truth Social that the Trump administration, quote, will not allow any enrichment of uranium, end quote, in a prospective agreement. Quote, uranium enrichment is the key to our nuclear program, and the enemies have focused on the enrichment, Khamenei said in the speech, according to Reuters. Quote, the proposal that Americans have presented is 100% against our interests. The rude and arrogant leaders of America repeatedly demand that we should not have a nuclear program, end quote. He further added, who are you to decide whether Iran should have enrichment? Iran's stockpile of 60% weapons-ready uranium has grown to 408.6 kilograms, according to a confidential IAEA report viewed by Reuters on Saturday, they say. Moreover, Iran is believed to have the capacity to make a nuclear weapon in roughly 3 weeks, with its current stockpiles of suitable enriched uranium, the IAEA stated in February. Quote, senior advisor and special envoy Witkoff sent a detailed and acceptable proposal to the Iranian regime, and it's in their best interest to accept it, a State Department spokesperson said in a statement to the Daily Caller News Foundation. Quote, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. The president also clearly said that he will not allow any uranium enrichment. Beyond that, it is not in our national interest to negotiate these issues publicly. Trump pursued a, quote, maximum pressure approach against Iran in his first term, instituting economic sanctions and playing hardball on Iranian nuclear aspirations. In his second term, his administration has worked to find a mutually agreeable deal with Iran, but Trump has also warned that he will take more aggressive measures if the Iranian regime does not quickly make progress towards an agreement. Here is a previous Reuters article from the 30th of March this year. Trump threatens bombing if Iran does not make nuclear deal. It says here clearly, quote, if they don't make a deal, there will be bombing, Trump said in a telephone interview. It will be bombing the likes of which they have never seen before. This just in from Donald Trump on Truth Social. Quote, I just finished speaking by telephone with President Vladimir Putin of Russia. The call lasted approximately 1 hour and 15 minutes. We discussed the attack on Russia's docked airplanes by Ukraine and also various other attacks that have been taking place by both sides. It was a good conversation, but not a conversation that will lead to immediate peace. President Putin did say, and very strongly, that he will have to respond to the recent attack on the airfields. We also discussed Iran and the fact that time is running out on Iran's decision pertaining to nuclear weapons, which must be made quickly. I stated to President Putin that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and on this, I believe that we were in agreement. President Putin suggested that he will participate in the discussions with Iran and that he could perhaps be helpful in getting this brought to a rapid conclusion. It is my opinion that Iran has been slow-walking their decision on this very important matter, and we will need a definitive answer in a very short period of time. Whilst many may agree with the statement, what right does any country have to intervene in any other sovereign country's affairs, barring extreme humanitarian circumstances? In this case, the argument is nuclear enrichment, and to what level should that be undertaken by another country in this day and age? Iran, or any country for that matter, may wish to pursue nuclear enrichment for nuclear power, to power their country, to keep the lights on, to keep businesses going, for heating and cooling, and so on. It's very cheap to run, and by today's climate standards, it's very clean. Who wouldn't want that? Many countries are having this discussion right at this very moment. However, many feel that the West and other countries' concerns of Iran attaining or enriching uranium past the point of just electricity and to the point of nuclear weapons is justified. In 2025, with many countries squabbling and bickering, to say the least, and many being on the verge of serious conflict, superpower countries like the US should play some role in enforcing and implementing measures to mitigate the potential for countries to create world-destroying weapons. It is a serious conundrum the world is in, because if a war breaks out with Iran, then you're talking potential Russian involvement, Chinese involvement, new enemies created in the span of hours that could lead to worldwide destruction. The key here is really either everyone has a nuclear weapon or nobody has a nuclear weapon. Discussions to roll back nuclear stockpiles across all countries around the world have been considered for years now, and some countries did. But then you have secret underground programs, countries not adhering to agreements. We also have the biological warfare variable to throw into the mix, which from a destruction perspective could be as bad, maybe even worse than nuclear bombs. And if there was a country or group that would take control of mitigating the use or stockpiling of nuclear weapons, who would that be? Could they be trusted? The bottom line here is, with all of the complexities of this situation, it's been clear for a long time that the powers that be want a world war. They need it, in fact. Economies are failing, demands for accountability over COVID crimes haven't stopped. People are far too politically involved for them to pull the wool over our eyes about anything anymore, really. And when all else fails, go to war. In a world where political differences and cultural conflicts have reached an irreversible threshold, cool heads must prevail. The lines of discussion must be opened and always kept open, and ultimately, the people need to be demanding peace from their leaders. No new wars means no new wars. We want to see that promise kept.